Hi, my name is Nwabisa Makunga, editor of the Sowetan. We've partnered with a number of designers to really interpret some of the work that we've done, some of our most iconic front pages, and to retell sort of the story in clothing brand, and really look forward to rolling it out to our readers and anybody who's interested, really. So we looked at a different number of front pages. We kind of took it from 40, we really brought it down, and we've selected those that really had an impact, that really had a message. So if you're talking, for example, one front page where Winnie Mandela passed on, it's one of those that, that a lot of people would have remembered, a lot of people would have engaged with. We looked at, for example, Zozibini Tunzi when she was crowned Miss Universe, and a number of others. And it's really front pages that if you're a reader of the Sowetan, you would thoroughly identify with, and it really had an impact at that given time. It's a very exciting project for us. It's really a brand extension, a clothing brand extension of the Sowetan platform. S stands for Sowetan, and 1981 is the year that Sowetan was born, which is 40 years to this day.
My name is David Colley. I'm a fashion designer based in Johannesburg, South Africa. How I felt being asked to be part of the collaboration with Sowetan 40 years celebration. For me, it's an iconic moment, because being part of an iconic newspaper that has played a major role in the making of the brand David Colley and the making of South African lifestyle, gossip, the highs and the lows, the sports, politics, is really major for me, because it simply means Sowetan recognizes the brand David Colley, and also it's great to be part of it, because now we give our best to the world and to, I don't know how many millions of subscribers you have as Sowetan, and they get the readers, the subscribers of Sowetan to actually experience, I would say, the soul of what happens in the house of David Colley. From sketch to product. It's some of those rare moments that people get to see. Being part of this journey is like literally really phenomenal, because we bring in high fashion and ready to wear together. And it comes in a time whereby the pandemic has made and changed the language of fashion today. So this collection, or these two capsule looks that we created, they actually speak to where I am right now as a designer, or where we are as the House of David Colley, to say we're gonna serve a global trend to our South African market. And we want people to appreciate it and celebrate it for its simplicity, its wearability, but yet affordable luxury. But we are building a global brand made in South Africa. And the world is still yet to find out who the brand David Colley is, and the person David Colley is. Because after 18 years of the making of the brand, I believe now we are starting to work.
I'm andrea valchemit. I'm a stylist, production designer, and costume designer. I've worked with quite a few South African designers. It's one of my passions. To name a few, Tebe Magugu, Richard Mnisi, Wanda Lefoto. Those are the most recent campaigns I've worked on. When I was asked to be a part of the S1981 campaign for the Sowetan, I was nervous at first, but I was incredibly excited, because I love being hands-on, and I love just getting stuck into things and solving problems. And I knew I had so many people around me that could support me to make this happen. I love styling so much, but sometimes it's really nice, especially at the end of the year when we're all tired and it's been a rough year, to just break out and do something a little bit more out of my comfort zone. So it was a very welcome challenge. So what inspired me when I looked at the front page the Sowetan gave me, I think first off was just this image. And also what Youth Day meant in 1976, and and how many kids died that day. And all they wanted was equal rights. All they wanted was for Afrikaans to be abolished and for them to learn in a language they could understand or resonate with. So the two garments I've come up with, one is a streetwear piece and one is, for my sins, a couture piece. For the streetwear piece, we've actually kind of created this ombre effect. We start from the smoke and the light, because it's quite a contrasting photo. It's a two-piece that basically can turn into a shirt with shorts or a long sleeve with long pants. And there's cuffs on both the bottom, the sleeves, and the legs, so that you can also tailor the suit if you want to. So it kind of becomes 3 garments in one, which to me is quite like utilitarian and really great for streetwear, because I feel like streetwear should be adaptable. The couture piece is a little bit more chaotic, whereas the print on the streetwear piece is quite structured and sort of ombres down. This piece is like, it has the structure of a 2-piece suit, but it's chaotic. The fabric is like ripped and fringed. It's a kind of, I really wanted to play on the idea of this passion and this anger and the confinement of like a 2-piece suit. So it's quite a transition from something that is very ready to wear. It comes with a matching bucket hat, to something that is incredibly structured, that references like a private school hat. It's got a bag that looks like a Croxy school book. So there's quite a lot of fun elements in the second piece.
My name is Ole Ledimo. I'm a founder and creative director at House of Ole. Growing up in the township, we used to read Sowetan, and obviously the highlights, and sometimes go straight to sport. And Sowetan has a very deep sense of storytelling to us as black people, especially in South Africa, because it was that one newspaper that you read and then 7-10 hands, will pass it on. And before there was a social media, before there was Instagram, there was Sowetan. And Sowetan is still relevant today. So for me to be part of that, it's an honor. To see the evolution of the brand, now with the introduction of S-Mag and all of that, the evolution, it's inspiring to see that going into the next level. And I've been featured before in Sowetan, and to continue to be appreciated, acknowledged by one of the best newspapers in the world, I don't take it light. It's such an honor for me. Fashion, icon. There's a lot in that front page. The South African flag designed by Fred Brofel. From the flag alone, there's a lot that one can extract. Madiba. Madiba is such a fashion icon himself, with the Madiba shirt and what he represents and all his code to the youth and what he stands for and everything else that he fought for with other struggle icons. So there's a lot from it. I sort of had a vision of communicating what Sowetan represents to those who doesn't know it, because maybe of ignorant or is not in their face, which is more of the youth. You know what I mean? And if you tell that story in the cool way, then they will relate and they will want to know more. So my target was not necessarily someone who grew up with a newspaper, but someone doesn't necessarily know the newspaper, but they know the brand Sowetan. So I'm hoping that the X generation, they will look at it and they will have interest and realize how powerful and how amazing Sowetan is. Maybe they know the S-Mags, but not necessarily the brand, or they heard of it. So we grew up with it. We understand what it is, what it represents, the source of information and so forth, but leading the culture more than anything. The 2 garments that I've created, really, it's all about bespoke, tailoring. As you know, studied my tailoring in London, and I'm one of the blessed people to being able to work with amazing people or sit in the presence of the greatness, like Sir Paul Smith, Oswald Boateng. Those are some of the people that, for me, they are fashion icons. So I've learned quite a few from them, and with that skill, coming to Africa with our culture, rich culture, as African people, you You sort of want to take that British bespoke tailoring and have an African interpretation to it. And that's what I've done with this thing that I'm doing now with Sowetan. And most importantly, make it unifit or gender fluid. You know, both pieces, they will be able to be worn by both male and female. You know, with my classic tailoring, and I did like a relaxed fit on the second outfit, oversized, you know, just to accommodate different body shapes and size. And I hope people will enjoy it.
My name is Craig Jacobs. I'm the creative director of Fundutsi by Craig Jacobs. When I was given the cover, that was going to be my point of inspiration, I was a little bit daunted because this is probably one of the most iconic women in South Africa and most famous woman in the world. And she stood for so much and she went through so much. So it was quite a scary thing, and I had to take a step back and breathe and calm down and then think about it and think about a way that I can celebrate her in a way that's true and captures the essence of who she is. The first one, the avant-garde one, is very much an exploration of the image and looking at the pleats on her blouse, looking at her level of, like I said, resigned defiance, the hand movement, and interpreting all of that into a garment. And the starting point was the cape or the poncho, which is fluid. And I wanted to create that fluidity because firstly there were like kind of pleats on her blouse. But I also thought this was a woman at that time when that picture was taken who was so restricted for movement. She was probably staying in Brandford where people were knocking on her door in the middle of the night when she was trying to sleep. She couldn't walk around unless she was followed. Everything was tracked. So I thought how the freedom that she was fighting for, I wanted to convey that in something. And for me, the poncho kind of is the wish or the hope that she was trying to create. The rest of the garment, the dress, the cocktail dress, and when we're looking at things, also playing with different elements of friction. So there's these little discs that we hand cut out of ABS plastic, and we use that because it's a recyclable, sustainable material, because we wanted to create like a little bit of a dance as someone walks, that you can hear a little bit of a sound, and it creates a little bit of texture and interest. So that's the avant-garde garment. And then taking that and turning that into the commercial was taking those ideas and exploring them in a different way where it was more wearable. So the pants, I worked with African designer, one of the greatest local contemporary designers, Great Joy Ndlovu, who sketched Mama Winnie's fist. And we repeated that as a pattern. So it's not an African print, but it's intrinsically African because it's Mama Winnie's fist that becomes a pattern on a pair of pants. And the T-shirt, which for me is hopefully a piece that will resonate to people, whether you're a guy or a girl, whether you're old or younger, explores all those iconic elements. So it's about Amandla as a slogan to say we should all empower ourselves. And again, tension, there's little strips of fabric that are dissected on the T-shirt, and it plays again with that element of like tension and fighting against something, but hopefully in a way that becomes quite practical and contemporary. And the entire collection is all about black and white. So it's about starkness. It's about putting things back to its essence and its truth.
My name is Lekao Sohana. I'm the founder and CEO of Drip Footwear. I am from Ivory Park, informal settlement just on the outskirts of Midrand, and some say in Tembisa. So I was raised by my mom, who got divorced when I was 2 in 1990. So here I'm just a normal Kasi boy from Ivory Park who just grew up in poverty like everyone else in South Africa. What inspired my love for shoes is actually music and poverty as well. So at school, I didn't have any shoes to wear and during a school function. So I just went home and I saw an old-tone sneaker. And out of, my young creative mind, I was like, actually, maybe I can just use denim and polyurethane to actually redesign a sneaker so that I can just attend the school function. So yeah, that is how it actually started. So from there, I started doing research. There wasn't much social media then. So I just look around what are people wearing, and I was listening to too much music as well, and hip hop, it was all about sneakers and all those sorts of things. So that is how it actually began. The concept for the shoes with their cover that is actually inspiring the whole campaign is that we have the cover on the side of the shoe, but I won't say much about that because I just want people to actually see it and then just decide on them how they feel and if they actually like it. But we just have the cover on the side of the shoe that is being inspired by Sowetan.